Okay, so we are closing in on the home stretch here. We'll just do a few more things before I show you how to export these. So now let's review just for a second. We've got several tracks here. We've got our main build track here. We have our kind of music and sound effects, and then if you want to put some narrative of your own, which you probably will, you could put that over here. You could even, if you wanted to, at the end of the day, you can put this on, keep it all on just 2 tracks. It's up to you however you want to do it. And remember, we can do that by just selecting this, and I'm going to just drag it with our time shift tool up here. So see, that can be done, and you could delete that track. Okay, so in this case, this is just that little voiceover that I did. We'll put that at the beginning, and we're getting ready to export this out. So I'm going to use my selection tool again, and let's play this back. Da-da-da-da-da. I don't need any of that, so I'm going to delete that by just selecting and delete. And let's play this. Okay, now I am making a test. Okay, so we'll leave that there. Let's make this so that it plays along with this up here. And here we go. We're going to use our time shift. And look, do you see what happens when it recognizes that it lines up with this one up here? Do you see that yellow line? That's just a guide called Dynamic Guide to let you know. Okay, so this isn't going to be like a monumental podcast, so we're just going to do it this way. Here's our music. Let's put this at the end, and we still are on our time shift. So I'm just going to put this over here. And again, the dynamic guide came up to show us. There's one more thing. Oh yeah, look, we forgot about this guy right down here. So let's move this down and put this right about here. Let's leave a gap there and move this over. There we go. Let's play this and see how that sounds.
No. Out of which we flew, there were about 15 of us, I guess, in that first one.
Okay, so we'll just say that is going to be our podcast. Of course, you would build it much more than that, but this shows you kind of the basics. Okay, so now we have 3 solo tracks, right? And we're going to export these out. And we have checked and we made sure, there's no more little missing parts down here. So that's good because what will happen is when you export that, it'll find that one that's, way down there, and you'll have big blank space and you'll have that. So we don't want that, but it's no problem. You can re-export it. So here, everything's kind of lined up. We have 3 tracks. They're all 3 soloed. Now, before we do this, let me give you a heads up. These tracks here are dimmed out, but they would still export as just a blank. And look, they go way farther than our last little bit of the clip. So what do we do about that? Make sure they don't export. Well, we are going to, and let's get this back here so we can just see it. Just if you press the mute button, it will not export. So here we go. We're ready. We're ready to export. We've got everything. Now you would do a lot more tweaking. You might have, sound envelopes here. You might be, ramping this up and down by using the fade in, fade out, and so on and so forth. But let's just say this thing is built and we're ready to go. So now all we do is file, just export. And we're going to, let's just let it default to the name of the, our project. So we'll just let it go. In this case, it's on MP3 files. Now, this is what I wanted to talk to the people that are downloading the free application. You have to download a plugin to get MP3. Otherwise, you could just use Wave. That's actually built, or AIFF. That is actually built into the to Audacity. But this one is you have to actually download LAME kind of plug-in and get MP3. But I've already done that, so we can talk about that later individually. So here we go. We're going to save it, and guess where it's going to go? On my external drive. And let's just go ahead and do it. And look at this. Now this is great. It says your tracks will be mixed down to a single mono channel in the exported file. That's perfect. That's what we want. So just go by all this is your metadata. We don't really need that at this point. Here we go. So here we go. And here's our external drive right here. And let's see what happened. There it is. And the duration is 21 seconds. That's about right. But let's see, did you notice that we did not start at 0? So let's see what happened when we exported that file. Just out of curiosity, I'm going to go ahead and open this in Twisted Wave. And I'm going to just shrink this down so we can see. This is another audio editing application. But look, it did start pretty much on time. It's just like 1 second. Okay, now I am making a test.
We pay you as little as they could and find out if you could fly.
So they weren't doing any aviation training in Jacksonville?
No. Out of which we flew, there were about 15 of us, I guess, in that first one.
Okay, so great. I'm going to close this out. And this too. So look back here before, this is just about the end, I think. Look at all this. The audio, let's go down here, didn't actually start until 1 minute and 6 seconds, but the Audacity recognized that this was all blank space and did not import it as blank space. So there we go, and that's all you need to do for exporting. Just remember to mute the tracks that you do not want to export, which is going to be pretty much all of them, and to solo the ones that you do, and they will mix down as one channel. All right, well, that's the quickest I can get through Audacity. There's much more than it can do. And all I can say is if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. You know where my office is. Thank you.